Hello. So I was requested that I make a pattern or a video on how I do my looms when I do my large beads. Um, I'm going to first show you how to make the loom. So I want this project's going to be small, but it's going to be 3 beads wide. So you take a string and you don't drop your beads everywhere. You put 3 beads on it. And I use a container lid, so like a really big storage bin container lid, because it's nice and big and bulky, and my last project was 36 wide. So this is just a smaller scale. So you take these 3 and you tape them down. You can tie them down if you want to. I'm just using tape for this. And you make sure you tape these down kind of tight. The way to make sure that they're taped down good is if you tape it down tape the end down, fold this over, and tape it down again, it won't slide. I've seen people make cardboard looms, so like you would poke the holes into the cardboard so you can make the loom that way, or you can buy a weaving loom for like what you would use for cloth. I don't do these projects often enough to own a weaving cloth loom, but that's a really good way. If I did these projects more often, I would just buy one. You can get them at like Michael's or Walmart and things like that. They're like 30 bucks, mattering on size. So this is what it looks like right now. So this is how wide it's going to be. Now the way that you keep track of how many strings you need is you need 1 string to go on this side, in between, and this side. So for 3 beads across, you're going to need 4 strings. So I'm going to take my 4 strings that I've already cut. If you're doing these in large beads, these are 9mm beads. So you take your 9 millimeters, divide or times it by how many beads your pattern is, and then you can figure out how long you need your strings. Make sure you always cut your strings longer than what you need, because I promise there will be mess ups. And there will be times when things get a lot harder and it's kind of a pain. But what you're going to do is you're going to take this and you're going to tape it directly above your beads. It doesn't have to be perfectly centered. Nothing about doing this has to be perfectly centered, at least not yet. So now you're going to take this and you're going to put 1 string here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. So I'm using black beads so you can see better, and then the white strings go on 1 on each side. So there's 1 here, 1 in between here, 1 in between here, and then 1 on this side. If you've ever done any type of loom work, it's exactly like making your own loom. I'm going to tie my other end and do the exact same thing on the other end. The reason why you do it on both ends is so you can make sure that your lines stay straight. It'll make it a lot easier in the end. If you've ever done any type of loom work, sorry, I can't talk very well. Loom work, you'll know that they have it tight at both ends, because with the strings being tight like that, it makes it easier for you to weave. And I'll show you how to do the weaving too. So I'm just going to make another one of those 3. Don't use your teeth for things. Do not recommend. I know I do it, but I have really sharp teeth. So again, with the 3 beads, tape down, flip over, tape down, and then the other side, tape down, flip over, tape down. I'm reusing old tape. So now you also have 3 beads up here. And you're going to do the same thing, but make sure that this top string here goes on this side of the beads. So your top string stays on the top. Make sure the next string is the next one over, and the next string is the next one over. You want to keep them in lines, so they're nice straight lines. And then you can tape this side down too. Because it's coming into this little hole, I'm just folding it over into the little slot and taping it down. Ah, I messed up. See, everybody makes mistakes. Unfortunately, this is what happens when you're home making something. And sometimes mistakes do happen. However, learn from them. Makes everything so much easier. I need to get more tape. Hold this down. Yes, I have a really big tape thingy. Make sure you pull it nice and tight. So, now that that's nice and tight, now I can start doing the loom. Give me a second. I need to change my camera angle. I'm not cutting any of this, so you can see how long it actually takes to do this. Outside of my mayhem called a brain. Okay, so now you have the nice tight strings. So what I'm going to do now is apologize for the camera angle. Nice tight strings. You're going to take a piece of string here and you're going to tie it onto here. Try to do it as close to the top as possible. Closer to the top, the less gap you have in the end, it looks nicer. Because you're using this type of string, it's a lot. You can just tie a normal knot. You can do a surgeon's knot if you're just in that habit. I normally do a surgeon's knot purely because I'm in the habit of doing it. So take a beading needle. So it's actually a yarn needle, but you tie. I'm going to cut this string shorter because I'm not going to do that much. I don't need a ridiculously long string for the amount that I'm doing. So you can cut this little tail, and then it's better to have a shorter string and just tie more strings on than have a really, really long string and have it fray. I promise you that's going to be your best friend. So is this needle. Put this through here. Single knot it onto here so it doesn't come off. And then I'm going to use these little blue beads, which you cannot see in this lighting, sorry. These little blue beads. So you're going to pass the needle underneath, put on your beads. If you're doing a pattern, you'll have to put them on by your pattern. And I'll make another video to show you how to write code if you want to learn how to do that for patterns. put these under here. So you're underneath the string right now. And you gotta push them up in between the strings. Right, like that. And then you go on top of the string. So your first row is under, and then your second is on top. So literally what's holding these beads on there, you got pulled nice and tight, is there's a string under them, and there's a string on top of them. And that's what's holding the beads on there. I'll show you one more time. Go under, put on your beads, push them through, and go on top. It's really that easy. Go under. This one I'll do more than one color. So you got a blue bead, a black bead, a blue bead. Push it through. Go on top. So if you look, sorry, my camera views are kind of weird. So underneath and then on top. And you pull through. I'm going to do a couple more and then I'll show you how to tie it off. So you go under to start. It makes it easier. 1, 2, 3. Push through on top. To tie it off, you wrap around this string and do a surgeon's knot as if this string was your other string. And then you pull tight. Do it one more time. 1, 2. Pull tight. And this is what it'll look like in the end. You can always straighten them out, push them around if you need to. There you go.